So as we head into Thanksgiving week, we all are contemplating, no doubt, gratitude in our lives. And gratitude is so good for our emotional, our mental, our spiritual, our physical health. Just finding, cultivating, practicing gratitude is just plain out healthy all around. So I thought we'd start with a John O'Donohue prayer of gratitude this morning. So as we arrive, maybe close your eyes. John O'Donohue offers this. I give thanks for arriving safely in a new dawn, for the gift of eyes to see the world, the gift of mind to feel at home in my life, the waves of possibility breaking on the shore of dawn, the harvest of the past that awaits my hunger, and all the furtherings this new day will bring. So let's let go together of the furtherings that are ahead of us for this new day and come into the present moment, leaving the past and the future to just be. And here we are. Let's arrive. Let's come down to our mats. And if you have a block, you can take the block that will go under your head at a higher level. So it can be all the way up here. It can be at the midpoint. And then take the one that goes right under your shoulder blades on the lower level. So you can play around with what you like there. And then take your blanket or your towel, roll it up and place it right under your knees. This will support your lower back. And if you happen to have an extra one, yeah, let's go ahead, cover up. It's a little chilly here today. So if you like, and you want to be cozy, which we want to be cozy, right? And then just lower down on your blocks. Find that sweet spot. So you might have to move them a little bit. This is a nice heart opener. And then let your arms just rest. Palms face up is a nice receptive position. Just allowing yourself to come into this moment. Your whole self, your body, mind, soul, spirit, just arrive here. And give yourself permission to dedicate this next 45 minutes or so to yourself. And we'll start our gratitude practice right there. Just finding some gratitude for this moment, this body, this breath. Just feeling your connection to the surface beneath you. And in gratitude for the space you are in. And use your senses to explore that experience of being you in your space. So notice the sounds. Notice the temperature of the air. Notice the sensation, if you have a blanket covering you, of that sensation of the fabric, the weight, just that experience of comfort, perhaps. And if no blanket, no problem. Feel that sensation of your clothes against your skin. And if there's anything that is calling out to you in your physical body, just notice it. So maybe there's a little discomfort somewhere. Maybe your mind even is a little agitated. Just become aware of that. Bring your awareness there. No judgment, just allow it to be there. Remembering everything is passing, everything is impermanent, so we can let it pass. Then begin to bring your awareness to your breath, that wonderful tool that is always available to us. See if you can soften your belly. Close your lips gently and invite in a deeper breath through your nostrils. Fill up. And then when it's time for you, let it go slowly through the nostrils. Just feel that sense of warmth as the air leaves your body. Another one, when you're ready, invite in that breath coming into the belly, the ribs, the lungs. See if you can take a fuller breath each time and pause at the inhalation, at the very tip top of the inhalation. Just pause there. Hold the breath. And then when it feels right, just let it go slowly. Make this breath rhythm your own. So you can find that rhythm that feels really good to you. So you practice it and then we come back to it when we really need it. Let's take a few more breaths together. Notice how each breath is different. Just allow your own breath to bring you into this moment. If your mind wanders, taking you to shopping lists or planning or ruminating about anything in the past, just gently invite it back to the breath, that awareness of the breath, that predictable rhythm of breathing in and breathing out. Good. We'll stay here for several more rounds. Maybe you can settle in a little more to this supported fish pose, allowing your chest to open up a little more, make a little more room for the breath. Maybe you can soften somewhere, softening the brow, the jaw, the face. As we move through this practice this morning, we'll try to take it a little slower. I'll do my best to guide us through a slower than normal practice so that we can, as we move through shapes, cultivate this appreciation for each one and what they have to offer. Each of the asanas in yoga has something different to offer us. And it might be different for each of us on different days. So just be conscious, be aware as much as you can of each shape and what impact it has on your capacity for presence. And that capacity for presence is a prerequisite for that experience of gratitude. All that we do on the mat takes us off the mat, allows us to remember, gratitude can become more of a positive habit, right? So we will begin to remember what we've learned on the mat when things come up, and we may need to shift ourselves back into a state of gratitude. Take a few more breaths here. See if you can fill up the chest, letting your shoulders wrap around your block or your blanket a little bit more. So I had this wonderful weekend. I reunited with people I hadn't seen in several years, and it was just joyful, and we had such a wonderful time. And everything just went so beautifully, and it was I was just consistently aware of gratitude, joy. And then we got on the plane from Chicago to fly back to Baltimore, and the plane was packed. I got a middle seat, not complaining, first world problems, I know. But I also didn't have room for my luggage. It was just one thing after another. First world, as I said. At the end of the flight, we got there a little bit early, which I was grateful for. But then we had to sit on the runway to wait for a gate, and the plane was getting hotter and hotter, and I had layers of clothes because I'd been in Chicago, and I started to get hot, and I was wearing my mask. I started to allow myself to go into that place of, wow, this is really uncomfortable. So I immediately thought of my practice, tried to shift myself, and it just wasn't working. I was hot, so I took off one layer. My husband was there. He starts rubbing my back. It was helpful for about a second, and then I was like, I think that's not helping, so thank you, but tried to get into my breath, slow down my breath. Oh gosh, that worked a little bit. So how do we shift? Sometimes we need others to help us remind us. Sometimes reading something like a beautiful John O'Donohue prayer or blessing can really shift us. And sometimes we just have to be with it, right? Give it a chance to teach us something. That's why we practice. So let's take one more big breath together. Exhale it out of the nose or the mouth. Let something go. And then blink open your eyes if they're closed. Take your covers off. Move them over to the side. Roll to one side. And come on up to a comfortable seat. If you have your blanket nearby, you can tuck it under your hips. And come up to easy pose, Sukhasana, crisscross applesauce. Sit up nice and tall. And take your arms out, reach up. Take a gander up at your fingertips, wiggle your fingertips. And then draw your palms together, right down at your heart. Take a moment. Let your chin come down to your chest and find something you are grateful for, just one thing. Easy little thing. Take a big breath in, breathe that in. The tiniest little thing to be grateful for. I always go to my coffee. I love the smell of coffee, even more than the taste. When you're ready, take your arms out wide, reach up, look up. Wiggle your fingers, look at them. Be grateful for your fingers. Draw your hands down to your heart center, chin to chest. Find someone to be grateful for in this moment. Just think of that person. When you're ready, one more time, inhale, reach up. Wiggle your fingers, look up. Stretch the throat chakra, then bring your palms together at your heart center. Draw your hands down to your heart. Then think of one pleasant memory. It doesn't have to be the best one, just one happy memory to be grateful for. Good. Take a nice big breath in. Open your arms nice and wide. Shine your heart. And take your left arm over your right. Give yourself a pat on the back. Find some gratitude for yourself. Maybe twist from side to side. Inhale. Open up. Open that heart. Take your right arm over your left. Give yourself a pat on the back. Good job showing up. We have some friends here sharing this practice. One more. Shine of the heart. Look up. Draw your arms as wide as you can. Bring some, take up as much space as you can. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. And then as you exhale, round forward. Bring your belly into your spine. Bring your palms together right in front of you. And then draw them into your heart. Sit up nice and tall. Take your hands to your legs, take your shoulders and roll them up to your ears and then roll them down as far away as you can get them. One more, inhale and exhale. And then the third time's a charm, so inhale and roll back, creating space. Take your right fingers and draw them over as far as you can. Take a walk. Take your left arm up. Take a side bend over to your right, lean and look left. Keep that left hip on the floor if it wants to come up. Take a big breath in. Just turn your torso slightly toward the left and look up at the place where the ceiling meets the wall. Good. Big breath in. And on your exhalation, take your left fingertips down to the floor. Walk them out. Inhale. Find your right arm. Lift your gaze and then take it over to the right. And turn your gaze toward the right, underneath your right shoulder. And then take a gander up toward that spot where your ceiling and your wall meet. And then turn your torso slightly toward there. Just a gentle twist. Take a nice big breath in, and as you exhale, we're going to twist toward the right. So right fingertips come behind you. Left fingertips can come forward or to the outside of your right thigh, just to use a little bit of leverage. Lift your heart, and then on your exhalation, take your gaze over that right shoulder. Good. Just a slow twist here. Use your breath. Inhale to lift and lengthen, and then exhale, twist a little more. Good. We'll take one more breath here. And then as you exhale, we're going to take our arms way up, look up, reach really high, get long in the side body, and then take your twist to the other side. Left fingertips come behind you. Right hand can come to the outside of this left leg. Gently take your twist over toward the left shoulder. Good. Big breath in as you lift and lengthen, crown of the head reaching toward the ceiling, keeping those hips grounded. Exhale. And then inhale again. Maybe your gaze goes a little more toward that left shoulder. Just be gentle with the neck. And then exhale, come back to center. Switch the cross of your legs. We'll be here just for a moment. And if your knees just won't come into this shape and you're not feeling gratitude for the shape, just let your legs extend long. Sit up nice and tall. Take your fingertips right in front of you and take a little walk. Come into a gentle forward fold. We're just moving the spine in a different direction. So we've gone side to side. We've moved in our twist, and now we're just letting our spine elongate, lengthen as we come forward. Maybe waking up those hips a little bit. Let your breath move you and keep you present so that you only go as far as you are ready this morning. We'll take one more breath together. Exhale it out as you walk yourself back. And then take your hands back behind you. Let your fingers point toward you. And if you can, leave your legs where they are. Great. We're just going to lift up. If not, if your legs are extended, come into your reverse plank. So if your legs are crossed, just lift up. Just shine your heart. And then on your exhalation, come back down. We'll place our blanket underneath our knees. Come into a tabletop. Many of us are thinking about our tables this week. Let's leave that. Come into your tabletop, your yoga tabletop. So knees under hips, fingers spread wide and hands under shoulders. Little Sophie, shake it out. When you're ready, drop your belly, lift your gaze, lift your tailbone. Come into your cow. Nice big breath in as you do. And then as you exhale, slow. Draw your belly into your spine, come into your cat. But just move that spine gently through your cat-cow, moving with your breath. Inhale, lift your gaze, shine your heart. And exhale, draw the belly into the spine. Draw your crown of your head toward the floor. And tailbone toward the floor. Good. Take a few more if this feels good. Breath to movement. And then pause. Just take a moment to appreciate, notice, find gratitude. Maybe that spine is starting to get a little more malleable. We're feeling a little more flexible. If we do, take that left foot, send it long. Flex your toes toward the floor. And then take the left foot across the right, toward the right, and take your gaze back toward the left foot. So the stretch is in the left side body. See if you can see the left toes. And press the left toes into the floor. Take a nice big breath in. And as you exhale, come back to center. Lift that left leg high again. And if your knees are okay, take that left knee. Keep the right knee where it is. Take the left knee up toward the left shoulder. Good. See if you can lift it a little bit higher. We're starting to get into this. Yeah. Feeling good. Left hip. Good. And then as you exhale, extend that leg long. We'll take it out toward the right, across the body. Take your gaze toward that left foot again. Good. Breathe in. Breathe out. Take it back. We'll take it one more time. Bring that left knee up to the left shoulder. See if you can lift it. I know. We're getting into it right away. Take a big breath in. And then extend it long. Lower that left knee. Bring your knees wide. Bring your big toes to touch. We'll take a little break, moving slowly into your child's pose. So forehead can come to the floor or blocks. Walk your hands forward as much as you can. Get your arms and your upper back all lengthened. And then see if you can sink your hips back towards your heels. A little bit more. Always the option to place a blanket between your hips and your calves. And take one more big breath in. And a long breath out. We'll come back up into our tabletop. Make sure your fingers are spread. You're pressing into those joints of each finger. Knees under hips. And then we'll send that right leg long. Flex the toes toward the floor. Keep your gaze somewhere right in front of you on the floor so you have a nice long neck. Nice neutral neck. And then as you're ready, take the right leg, cross it over, and take your gaze back toward the right leg. Good. Big breath in, stretch on the right side body. Press those toes into the floor. Breathe through it. Good. And exhale, come back to center. Extend that leg long. Good. And then take your knee towards your shoulder. Right knee comes toward right shoulder. Good. Lift it up. Wake up that right hip. And then on your exhale, send it long. Good job. Good. Let's take it across the body again. Take your gaze over in that general direction. See if you can see the toes. Good. Keep pressing that right heel back, getting a nice stretch of the foot. Breathe in. Breathe out. And your next breath in, extend that leg long. We'll take the right knee up toward the right shoulder. Come on. Come on with me. Breathe in. Hold it up there. Breathe out slowly. Lower the right knee to the floor. Bring the knees wide as your mat. We'll come into our second. Oh, lovely child's pose. See if you can release, send those hips back toward the heels. Lift your hands and just open and close your hands a few times. Stretch the wrist. You can circle out the wrists. And then just find stillness here. And see if you can find some gratitude in this shape. Breathe in. Nice full breath out. Take one more breath. See if you can sink back a little bit more. Really find that length in the spine that feels so good. We know if anything does not feel so good, then you must take care of yourself in whatever way you are able there. So using your props, backing off from going too deeply into a shape. Just make this practice one that feels good, that you can find gratitude for. On the next breath in, come on up slightly and take your hands over off your mat. See if you can get a stretch in the left side body so the right hand and the left palm can actually rest on top of the right hand if you like a little bit more of a deeper stretch. And then notice what happens to your hips. See if you can send them back again if they've lifted up a little bit. Send them back toward the left. Take a full breath in and a long breath out. Some hip work today. Have no fear. It will feel good. When you're ready, lift up, take your hands over, walk them over, maybe off your mat. Maybe the right hand comes to the top of the left hand, and just send your hips back again. So right hip reaching back as much as the left. Breathe in. Good side body stretch. Breathe out. And then come back to center. We'll lift back up through our tabletop. Take your hands just a little bit ahead of where they were in your table. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Press into the joints and that place in between your thumb and your, I should probably find out what the name of this is, but that meaty part between your pointer finger and your thumb. Tuck your toes. Begin to lift your hips. Come into a slow rise. That inverted V shape, downward facing dog. So your gaze is back towards your knees. Remove any props that are in the way. And just find a dog that feels good. So maybe you take a walk with your dog, bending one knee and then the other. Stretching the calves as you press your heels back toward the floor. Good. And just feel the sensations in your body. So you might feel your muscles and your arms and your shoulders beginning to turn on. Find some stillness. Take a big breath in and a long breath out. Maybe press the heels back toward the earth a little bit more. Maybe send the hips a little bit higher. Let's take one more breath here just to feel this shape. Feel that sense of strength, that sense of finding peace in this moment. Even though we're working, there's a balance of effort and ease. And when you're ready, lift your heels up. Take your gaze upward towards your hands and take a slow walk toward the front of your mat. And let your feet land under your hips. And just let yourself come into your first forward fold. So bend your knees as much as you need to protect the lower back. And take your wrists and let them circle out. Let the crown of your head reach toward the floor if you're okay here. If you ever start to feel dizzy, just come halfway up and see how that feels. Take your hands to your shins. But if you're comfortable here, come into your ragdoll, bring your hands to your elbows, and just let yourself come into this forward fold. A little bit of a surrender. Just notice how it feels here. So you can feel yourself beginning to balance between the right and the left side. Keep your breath slow and smooth as you relax the back of the neck and the throat. Soften the face. Maybe even close your eyes here. Let's take a moment in this forward fold to let your nervous system settle. And if it's not settling, come into that halfway lift. We'll take one more round of breath here. And then bend your knees. Root to rise. Rise up slowly. We'll let the head and shoulders be the last thing to come up. And then reach your arms up to the sky. Reach up, get really tall, even look up. And then take your hands together. You can wiggle your fingers and then draw them down to your heart center. And find a mountain pose. Maybe close your eyes here. Think of another small thing to be grateful for. I'm grateful for you guys for showing up Monday after Monday throughout this unusual time to practice together, to build this discipline that really can serve us for the rest of our lives. So I'm grateful for you. Release your hands, come into your mountain pose, draw your shoulders back and down, palms can face forward, find that receptive open, ready for anything shape in the body, and notice how that feels. Lift and spread your toes and lower the pinky toes on both feet. Lower the next toe and the next and the next until all of your toes are gripping the mat. You can feel that strength of your legs begin to turn on as you really come into this strong mountain pose. Grounded, but still reaching toward the heavens. So we've got this contrast of being here, yet being open to all the wonder, all the sacredness of this life. Take another breath in, and as you exhale, sink your hips back, lift your arms up. We'll come into a chair pose. So send your hips back, keep your gaze forward, and draw your pinkies together as you frame your ears. Good, breathe in. And as you exhale, take a swan dive forward. Come into your forward fold. Inhale as you come into your halfway lift. Good. And exhale, we're going to take our hands to the floor or your blocks if you have them and step the right leg all the way back. Find that runner's lunge. Good. Maybe rock forward and back a little bit, keeping mindful of this left knee over left ankle. And then take the right hand to the inside of the left foot. You always have the option of lowering the right knee if you want to keep it lifted, if you're feeling strong. Lift that left arm up and take a twist. Good. Breathe in. Breathe out. Good. Maybe you flip your palm and take a half bind here. If you want to take your arm behind and just let it rest palm face up on your sacrum. Maybe take your gaze a little more over that left shoulder. Good. Strong and steady. Always the option to lower the right knee. Breathe in, slow and easy. Good. Breathe out. We'll lift that arm up if it's back on your back and then lower it down to frame the left foot. And then step your left foot back to meet your right. We'll come into downward facing dog again. Walk your dog if you like. And then send your heels toward the floor. Find stillness for just a moment. See if you can appreciate the length in your spine here. Maybe lift your hips a little bit higher. Send your heels a little lower. Might never quite reach the floor, but it sure feels good in downward facing dog. Take another breath in, come up on your toes, stretch your feet, and then look forward. Take a walk forward, coming into your forward fold. Maybe circle out your wrists again. Good. Bend your knees as much as you need to, root to rise. Inhale as you reach your arms up and overhead. Good, reach up, maybe lean back this time a little bit, looking up towards your thumbs. Lean back, take a little gentle back bend. Belly into spine, shine your heart. Good. Ah. Then as you're ready, let's take our hands to heart center. We'll find one more little thing. I have this really yummy smelling candle from Thistle Farms burning in my, right here. Not close to my hair today, so I'm grateful for that. And when you're ready, send your arms up again, frame your ears, send your hips back, come into your chair pose. Good. Lift and spread your toes. Reignite those legs, stretching calves, maybe sink a little bit lower. Good. Breathe in, draw the shoulders down. Frame your ears, pinkies drawing together, maybe sink a little bit lower. Yeah, so strong, so good for the quads. We'll take a big breath in, and as you exhale, swan dive forward. Find your forward fold again, straighten your legs. Inhale, come to your halfway lift, shoulders draw away from the ears. And exhale, take your hands to floor or block, step back with your left leg. Find that runner's lunge. Oh boy, yes, appreciate that runner's lunge. Maybe rock forward and back a little bit. Keep your knee over your ankle there, right knee over ankle. Good. And then left hand comes to the inside of the right foot. Sweep that right arm up, take your twist. Good. You can always lower that left knee. Good. See if you like the twist with your arm up, with your gaze toward your arm. Maybe you like it with a flipped palm on your sacrum. Going a little deeper. Good. Feel that strength. We're so much stronger than we think. Breathe in as you look up. Good. Breathe out. Oh, yeah. And then take your hand back to frame the right foot. Appreciating this runner's lunge. And then we'll come back up. One more downward facing dog. Step the right foot back to meet the left. Do what you appreciate, what you're grateful for. So maybe it's a walk of the dog. Maybe it's finding stillness, lifting the hips a little bit higher. Good. Breathing in and breathing out. Good. One more breath in. One more breath out. And then we're going to slide our whole bodies forward, coming into a plank pose. Now, this is still a plank if you lower your knees. So decide, lower your knees, keep them up. And then as you rock forward just a little bit, so your shoulders come forward. If your knees are not lowered, go ahead and lower all the way down using the strength of your arms until your body reaches the floor. And then make a pillow with your hands. Turn your head to one side, Sophie, shake it out. And just settle in. Feel that support of the earth beneath you. Imagine the support of the earth beneath you because it is there. Full breath in. Feel your belly pressing into the surface beneath you. Feel your heartbeat. So grateful for beating hearts and open hearts. When you're ready, good. We'll take our forehead to the floor. Take your arms back behind you And take your shoulders, draw them away from your ears, and see if you can open up, draw your shoulder blades together, opening up the chest, even with your head on the floor, and then lift your head up. Let's see if you can lift up. Just a gentle back bend here. Only go as high as you are ready. Legs stay on the floor, tops of feet on the floor. Just give yourself a little counter stretch to all our slump asana that we normally do. Good. Maybe lift a little bit higher. And then lay yourself back down. Make your pillow. Turn your head in the opposite direction. Sophie, shake it out. Good. Breathe in. Let something go. We're going to come back to center. We'll take our locust variation to, we can either zip our legs together like we did last week, or we can bend our knees and reach for the outsides of our ankles, if you can get a hold of them. Good. Draw your shoulders out and together on the back body, so squeezing those shoulder blades, and then lift up. So legs, head, shoulders, knees, and toes off the mat as much as you are able in whatever way you are able. So legs straight, knees bent, coming into this bow pose if you like. So breathe in, maybe lift a little bit higher. I know, things get tough. What do? We go to our breath. We can pray. We can phone a friend. No, it's our practice. Let this practice. Hold it for one more round of breath. Big breath in, and then slowly make your way down. Maybe turn your head from side to side. Maybe rotate your hips. And then take your hands outside of your shoulders. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Forehead on the floor to start. And then we're just going to peel ourselves up as though we're coming through our cobra. And come up in to your table. And then we'll just take our left hip to the floor. Yeah. And then our right. Take your right leg. Bring it into the inside of the left. Good. Sitting up. And then we'll take our left hand, under the left calf. And then take your right arm up and over, take a side bend toward your left leg. And if you feel like you have a lot of air between the surface beneath you and your right knee, you can tuck something under there. And then take your torso, as we did earlier, and turn it toward the center. So turning it toward the right slightly. And the idea is to think about reaching for your left toe. Just think about it. Good. Breathe in. And breathe out. On your next inhalation, we're going to rise back up. Take your right hand to the mat. Take your left foot and spin it to flat. Then rise up. Take a counter stretch here. Lift that left arm up. Good. And then lower back down. We'll take our prop to the other side. Take your left foot to the inside of this right leg. Maybe prop up. Maybe one side is different. Maybe you don't need it necessarily on that side. So take your right hand, tuck it under your right calf just to give a little bit of weight. And if your shoulder will not accommodate this, just don't do it. You can always take your hand to the other side of your leg. We're just going to lift our left arm up and over, reaching for the right toes, which are flexed. And turn your torso more toward the center, so the right side of the rib cage is twisting ever so slightly. And then think about that left hip. See if you can keep the left hip grounded. Good. Breathe in. Maybe reach a little more for the toes. And breathe out. Good. Here we are. Good. One more breath in. And then slowly release the left hand. Take it over to the left side of the mat. Spin that right foot to flat. Take your counter stretch. Maybe reach up and over. Good. Maybe circle that arm. Just make it your own. And then eventually lower the left hip to the floor. Lower the right hip. Bring your feet together. We'll come into Baddha Konasana. Always the option to tuck something under your hips, just to lift them up a little bit. Or, here's another idea. You can tuck blocks or blankets under your knees if you feel like there's a lot of air. Just feel really supported as you bring your torso over your feet. And just bow. Come into your forward fold here. These forward folds are so good for our nervous system. Just softening. So think about softening the face, the jaw. I'm going to tuck something under me. Yeah, you can always tuck something underneath you. And just feel that support. As you feel supported, you're more likely to relax into these shapes. It's another practice in and of itself, allowing ourselves to be supported, especially in times of stress or agitation or claustrophobia, when you're waiting for your plane to pull into the gate. So breathe here and see if you can soften somewhere. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be complete relaxation. Just see if you can find one place in your body that has the capacity to soften. Because here's the truth. If we can find one thing to be grateful for, even the smallest of things, it can send a ripple effect outward that can affect the whole system. So, find that one spot that is really amenable to this shape and see if you can let that be your guide. Let that be your North Star. And just breathe into that. And soften the back of the neck. Let the shoulders just slump forward. Let this be completely a passive pose for you. And we'll take a couple more breaths here. See if you can soften a little bit more. Excellent. When you're ready, we're going to slowly take your fingertips to the floor first and slowly rise back up. Take your blanket or blankets. I'm going to put one behind my neck. I'm going to choose to cover up for a moment with the other and just come on down to your back. Allow that blanket on the top to completely make you feel comforted, if it's there. You can even take your hands to your belly or your heart, or one hand to belly, one hand to heart. And just take a moment, find something about this practice, or everything about this practice, and just find that gratitude. Allow your hands to rest, palms face up, tuck your shoulder blades beneath you, and just let your feet come wide. Let your legs just feel the support of the surface beneath you. You are supported. Think about it. We're all supported by one another because we show up here. Let's let go of any control here as we just rest and let all the twisting, all the stretching we did just integrate. Mind, body, soul, spirit. Just be present. When you're ready, begin to deepen the breath. Always the option to stay here if you like, but you can begin to make some small movements with the body, wiggling fingers, toes, turning the head from side to side, stretching, maybe taking a full body stretch. And then as you're ready, if you choose to come up, just roll to one side and come into that fetal position and just pause there. Just notice how your practice has brought you into this present moment perhaps, and how you feel. Notice the physical body, the emotional body, the mental body, the spiritual body. We are all of these. And then when you're ready, use the strength of your arms to press yourself up to a comfortable seat. And find some gratitude for these hips that have gotten a little more open, hopefully, during this practice. Sit up nice and tall. Reach your arms up. Wiggle your fingers as you look up. Then bring your palms together right above that crown chakra. Draw them down into your heart, bringing all that goodness there to meet with all the goodness that is inside of you. Let your chin bow to your chest and find something to be grateful for about you. Good. And as we move into this Thanksgiving week, this week of practicing gratitude, may you experience each day as a sacred gift, woven around the heart of wonder. And that's John O'Donohue as well. Namaste. Thank you guys. I needed that.